My name is Mark Wilhelm. I'm the pastor of West County Lutheran Church here in the greater St. Louis area. Today is November the 1st, and in the church we celebrate this as All Saints' Day. The evening before is a day that most people know of as Halloween, but in the church we refer to it as All Hallows' Eve, or the holy evening before All Saints' Day. All Saints' Day is pretty important in the life of the church in that we get to remember and celebrate the lives of those Christians, both that we've known personally and those throughout the larger church that have gone before us, those who have preceded us in death and are with Christ, awaiting the resurrection. We look at a lot of things with the lives of the saints who have gone before us, and a saint for our purposes doesn't necessarily mean someone who was perfect. It does mean someone who lived a life that is a good example for us to follow, as we today in this world still try our best to follow Christ in the world, to emulate his love, to imitate his example, to cling fast to his words. And so on this All Saints' Day, there's a passage of Scripture I want to read. And at the end of that, if you want to also give thanks to God for the people who have gone before you, who have passed away in the faith, who have been an example for you about how to follow Christ, people who have brought you close to God, this would be a good day especially to remember them and to give thanks to God for that. So a reading from Hebrews chapter 11, beginning in verse 32. The writer says, "And what more shall I say? For time would fail me to tell of Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, of David and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, enforced justice, received promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched raging fire, and escaped the edge of the sword, won strength out of weakness, and became mighty in war, put foreign armies to flight. Women received their dead by resurrection. Some were tortured, refusing to accept release, that they might rise again to a better life. Others mocked suffering and scourging, and even in chains and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn in two, they were killed with the sword. They went about in skins of sheep and goats, destitute, afflicted, ill-treated, of whom the world was not worthy, wandering over deserts and mountains and in dens and caves of the earth. And all these, though well attested by their faith, did not receive what was promised, since God had foreseen something better for us, that apart from us they should not be made perfect. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with perseverance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. This passage first begins by naming several people in the Old Testament who are regarded as saints for us who are Christians, people whose life and example in following God's leading in their life was an example to encourage us. And it goes on to comment that they didn't receive everything in full because Christ had not yet come, and yet us, we who have received Christ fully, continue on using their example as encouragement and direction. And as we remember the lives of those we've personally known, those who have also pointed us to Christ more fully, we remember that we are surrounded, even by those who have preceded us in death, by a great cloud of witnesses who are cheering us on. That's right, the people who have died that we've loved dearly, and the saints of old that are famous, almost heroes of the faith, they're all in heaven right now, celebrating with Christ, cheering us on as we continue in what they've already done, following Christ to the end of their life. So on this day when we might be tempted to finish off the Halloween candy or just move on with our lives, it's a good time to remember the opportunity to just give thanks to God for the people who have been such a blessing to us as we have continued and continue on to follow Christ. May you have a great day.